computer. Hey guys, welcome. So I'm so excited to be training on first impressions. And so I think when a few weeks ago, we talked about warm chatter and working on building up that confidence to do the warm chatter, where you start with, your first 2 weeks and you're out and about, you are, just having level 1 conversation, just getting used to talking with people. Level 1 is the weather, the prices of ground beef, the prices of a gallon of milk, things like that. Just getting used to being nice and smiling. And so we're going to talk about how to smile and talk at the same time and the importance of that in just a second. But so just if you were as just frozen like I was in the beginning about warm chattering and this makes you nervous, don't go out to do it on purpose. That's not what I do. If I warm chatter, it's because the opportunity has presented itself and it happens organically. And so, but getting good at first impressions and having conversations and feeling confident about yourself. And so I'm just going to read a few of my notes here so that I kind of stay on track. It says researchers have shown that it takes just 2 minutes. Hang on just a second. There's Sylvia. Okay. All righty. All right. Welcome, Sylvia. All right. Researchers have shown that it takes just 2 minutes. Nikki's coming in now. We probably should start at 9:05. All right. So here I go again for the 4th time. Researchers have shown that it just takes 2 minutes for someone to decide whether they like you or not. Now, I know for those of us who are really, really insecure, that terrifies us. But then it takes 4 minutes for that impression to lock in. All right. And so if you make a bad impression, and some of us have done that, not meeting to or whatever. It takes 6 to 8 future meetings to overcome that bad impression. All right. So how are first impressions made? First of all, people scan your face and they scan your eyes. Okay. They look at your body. How many times have you guys had on a cute outfit and you watched a woman look you up and down? So I want to say, I see you looking me up and down. But I mean, I try to focus on someone's eyes, but I am confident. I don't need to look at a woman's outfit. And, if I see a great outfit, I'm going to say, oh my gosh, I love that outfit. I'm not going to need to try to sneak and look at her. But anyway, I'm going to do that. And how many times have you walked away and you turn around and say something and you see the woman? Women are worse than men, but they're comparing you to themselves. And I know that's terrible because women are highly insecure. All right. So back to first impressions. They look at your body, like I said. They examine what you're wearing. Yes, we've seen that. They listen to the tone of your voice and your handshake, if it was appropriate. So like back in the day when we used to handshake, that was, they could sum you up that way. So like we've talked about this before, when you do give a handshake, and I think one day we're going to get back to that. I just think it's a nice gesture. You want to have a nice firm handshake. You don't want to be squeezing them so tight, but you want to have a nice firm handshake. And that says, I'm confident, I'm not intimidated, and I know what I'm talking about, and I'm professional. Now, how many times have you shaken somebody's hand and it's like a wet noodle? Hang on for a second. It's like a wet noodle, right? So that's kind of like, oh, especially men. If men give you a kind of a limp handshake, that's just saying, I'm not confident. I don't take charge. I can't get the job done. Right. And so having that firm handshake, it speaks volumes. We're going to talk more about that in just a second. And then you listen to their words. All right. So each of these next thing, it's going to provide key opportunities to make good impressions. So if you're taking notes, to start with, when they first look at your face and your eyes, you don't want to have shifty eyes. You want to look at that right eye, look at the right eye. And that's how you can make that perfect glare. And so you're not looking away, you're not looking, looking around. Shifty eyes generally look unhappy, unfriendly. People are likely to gain a negative first impressions if you have like shifty eyes. All right. Look the person in the eye. Don't look at the ground. And you always want to smile. This will convey that the message that you're warm, that you're open, and that you're confident. Notice your hands, like when you are meeting someone for the first time, make sure that your hands are not real fidgety or nervous or uncontrollable moving. Make sure they rest confidently, whether it's on a desk or a table or just beside you. Notice your posture. Okay. You don't want to slouch. You want to stand up straight. You want to hold your shoulders back. So I've noticed that like my neck, I have, just from, I guess, being kind of long, I have bad posture, and I've always worried about that. And so there are great exercises that you can do. So like if you can reach your hands behind your back and hold one elbow with the other hand and the other elbow with the other hand, and do that exercise like 5 times a day and hold it, what that does is it starts to open up your shoulders and build those muscles back. Because, as aging and you've got kids running around, you're just like, oh. And, some of us small frame people, we're kind of more prone to osteoporosis. And that's kind of where mine's coming from, because I had the beginning stages several years ago. You can also press your palm against the wall and pull back on that right there, and then do the other one and pull back like this, and that starts to open your shoulders up. And so if you look in the mirror and you've watched yourself on a video, you're like, oh, my posture, those are just some really great exercises to start opening this up. Okay. And getting that chin up and your shoulders back, so that when you do walk into the room, you have that that confidence. Because even if I'm confident, but I know that I struggle with that because of my my beginning stages of osteoporosis too. So I work on that every day, trying to open those shoulders up. All right, so working on your posture. Always say hello. Hang on. Excuse me. Always say hello with an additional remark. So if you say hello without a further short statement, it could kill the flow of the conversation. And so that's where, when we talked a few weeks ago about mastering that level 1, if you really spend 2 weeks just forcing yourself when you're at the grocery store, when you're at the bank, when you're out and about, just making that. I'll give you an example. I went today to the grocery store. I haven't really been going to the grocery store. I've been doing my pickup, my ordering online, and just not getting out of my car. But I started going in because just the prices are crazy and I'm not getting what I want. And I'm at the beef, and my beef was like $10.99. And I'm like, is this price wrong? And I look at this couple, I'm like, I said, am I reading this right? Like, we're having this conversation about the price of beef. Those are the level 1 conversations that I'm talking about. You don't always have to whip out your Mary Kay card, but getting used to that small level 1 conversation, so that when you do say hello to someone at a party, you can further the conversation, like, oh, I love your earrings. Where did you get those? You're waiting for all the guests to come into the party, and you're just chatting with everybody that comes in. It is such a gift to have that. And if you find that you are not good at small talk, which is what it is, just practice it. Like we said, I was not good at it, and I am now. So I know that it can be a learned skill. You just have to work on it. Okay. So to fuel conversation, how do you fuel conversation? You can start with a compliment. Like I just said, I love those earrings. Everyone likes to feel important, and by complimenting someone, that fulfills that need. But let me tell you, okay, women know right away when you're not giving a true compliment. And so as your guests are coming into the party, they're sitting down, I want you to always be thinking, what do I like about her? You know, what is it that I can give a true compliment? And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's really hard. I've been in those spots and I'm like, oh, I don't like her. I just knew it right away. I didn't like her. And I'm just being real and raw, and I just, you just kind of have to move on, and find somebody else to talk to, especially when they come in with an attitude and they've got that resting, what face on. You're like, why'd you even leave your house if you're in a bad mood? Like you're going to ruin the party for everybody, right? I mean, it's just it's people. We are in the people business, and not every situation is a happy situation. But you know what? You may not be able to make her happy, but you can make everybody else happy, and you can make sure that she doesn't ruin the party for everybody. Okay, because people like that's honestly what they set out to do, is to bring everybody down with them. And you have the power because you're full of joy when you're at your party. You're the professional and you know how to spread love and joy and happiness. And you're going to know how to give compliments, and you're going to make sure that everybody has a great time at your party. Okay. And if you do have someone around the table that is, bringing down the atmosphere or the mood, then you just skip her. You just skip and just, direct your attention to everybody else. And she's like, I can't use that. I can't use that. Skip her. Okay, fine. Let's move on. You can't, but now look how beautiful everybody else looks. And what I've found is that when those people, when you ignore them enough, guess what they start doing every time? I can do that one. Oh, I can do that one. Because they're not getting any attention. And see, all they wanted in the very beginning was attention. Well, guess what? You were going to give them attention anyway, because that's who you are. We're taught how to love on people. If you study all your Mary Kay and you study the personalities, we know how to love on people. We know how to love in every love language, in every personality, whether they're a D personality, an I personality, an S, or a C. We know how to speak their love language. And so a person doesn't need to come in, with, intentions to bring everybody down and then feel back, and then because she's not getting any attention. And so you be the professional, you know how to do it. You study your conversations, you study your personalities, you study everything to make you the most confident person you can be at every appointment, and you'll be able to handle every situation. Okay. And so when you learn to give compliments, you also learn how to accept them. So let's talk about that, because I know that we all came in to Mary Kay, not, that bright shining star, right? A lot of us came in insecure. We didn't know how to receive compliments. We didn't get a lot of compliments in our life, or whatever, workplace we came from. But when you start learning how to give, you are able to receive them, because if you can't give them, you can't receive them either. And so it's really gonna make you more of a better, well-rounded person. We always say Mary Kay is a personal growth, spiritual growth, and a financial growth. I mean, it's like going to Mary Kay University. It is just the best college courses that you could ever take, and you get it for free when you start your Mary Kay business. All your training is free. All right. So you can then extend the conversation. Once you learn how to give compliments, you can extend the conversation by finding out what that person likes to talk about or what their interests are. Okay. So I had a facial here today, and she had never met her. She was from a referral. I sold $210, by the way. And she comes in and she has on a football shirt. And I'm like, guess what? I love football. I'm like, I love your shirt. And I said, do your kids play football? Boom, there goes our conversation. And we just chatted the whole time. And it's that easy. It's that easy. She likes football. I like football. Even if you don't like football, you know somebody that likes football. If you don't like football, you can say, oh my gosh, my sales director or my senior sales director is a football fanatic at at every beach retreat. We end early on Saturday so we can all come in and watch football. And I know half of y'all don't like football, but you watch it with me because you know I like it, right? And so, you know what? That's how you can share your football story if you don't like football. All right. I don't know what we're going to do this beach retreat. I doubt Cheryl comes in early to watch football. We'll have it on our phones. All right. And so if you talk about things that they're interested in, okay, your conversation will last longer. Okay. If you don't talk about things that they're interested in, the conversation stops and you're just kind of staring at each other. So that this warm, open introduction that you have, if you get really good at finding out their interest, will convey the message that you're likable, you're nice, you're a confident person, and you care about them. You care about their interest. So let's go back to the handshake. Okay, when you first meet someone and you give them that strong, firm handshake, many people will grasp the other hand with the opposite hand. I used to do that when we were shaking hands. I like to do that because to me, that says, I'm so excited to meet you. I can't wait. We're going to have so much fun. And it means I am really genuinely happy to be in your space. And I hope that conveys that. So it means that you're caring and that you emphasize that you're greeting them with trust. Like, I want you to trust me and, be confident around me, be secure around me and have fun, that you can relax. Okay. Another thing, and we talked about, I'm not going to go back over the weak handshake, but if you're wanting to know how strong your handshakes are, go shake your husband's hand, shake your kid's hand, and get them to rate it. Like, oh, mom, you hurt my hand, or yeah, that's nice and firm. Just find out what kind of handshake you have. Here's something funny. When two really strong D personalities shake hands, like, it's so funny. Like, we're like, I'm a high D. I've shaken high D people's hands before, and I knew her hands were going to be strong, and my hands were strong, and we're like, I'm stronger than you are. But it's funny because it doesn't matter. We're both confident people. We just kind of laugh because we both know what we're doing. All right, so bright colors. We've talked about this in the past too. Wearing bright colors will attract people to you every time, even if you're out, and about, and even if you're not thinking that you're doing Mary Kay, people will talk to you. They'll strike up conversations. Wear bright colors. So if you are that shy, insecure person and you're really wanting to work on getting out of your shell, go to Goodwill. Go look through those. I love Goodwill. And I love that a lot of the Goodwills have all their colors organized, like they have all the greens together, all the pinks, all the reds, and just go through and just look out for the brightest colors. Okay. And so, and then even if it's winter and you've got black on, put on a bright scarf and even some, bright colored earrings or whatever, because that will attract people to you and people will start naturally talking to you until you get the confidence to strike up that conversation. Okay. So bright colors attract. Your body language, when you walk into the room, you want to have your head up, shoulders back, head up high, fast pace. Okay. So when you walk, and you're, when you're walking into the room or you're let's say wherever you want to have that, or even walking into the grocery store, you want to have that fast pace. Especially if you're dressed in your Mary Kay attire, you got on your your business tag, you just want to look like, wow, she's going somewhere, right? The other day, I have to tell I think I told this funny story. There's this sweet lady that's at my grocery store, and she's kind of a little mentally challenged, and she had my receipt. She goes, they said, do you want your receipt? And I said, no. She goes, well, it says you're on the way to savings. And I said, well, at least I'm on my way somewhere. And she just started laughing. And so, but when you're walking into the room, you want to look like you're on the way somewhere. Even walking to the grocery store, you want people to say, oh, she just stepped out of that Mary Kay car, or oh, she's got on her Mary Kay badge. So have a fast pace. You don't want to like linger, like, oh, I'm exhausted. I mean, just the way somebody walks, I'm like, oh, she's wearing me out just watching her walk, right? So you want to be energy giving when you walk, and that's what you want to portray. A person can tell when they walk in, when you walk into the room, if you're energy giving or energy draining, and you need to always be energy giving. Okay, so have that fast pace. Failure to make eye contact says one or two things. It says, I feel weak beside you, I feel inferior, and I'm afraid of you, or I feel guilty. Okay, that's probably more than two things, but feeling weak is one, feeling inferior, feeling afraid, and feeling guilty. That's four things. Where did the two things come from? My notes are wrong. You say nothing good about yourself when you avoid making eye contact. You say, I lack confidence. So that's where that looking into that right eye, when you're looking at someone, your right eye should look into their right eye. And you practice that. Practice that when you're talking to your kids, when you're talking to your husband. And looking into that right eye, making that eye contact, it tells them, I'm honest, I'm believing in what I'm telling you, I am not afraid of you, I'm confident. Make your eyes work for you. Okay. And then the last thing, and I'm gonna let Marianne speak, is get good at smiling when you talk. And so when you're doing your Mary Kay presentation and you're doing your facials, even your one-on-ones, smiling when you're talking is a gift. And I've got to teach my daughter this because she's a cheerleader, and she did her first game the other night, and she doesn't have that skill yet. If you watch Marianne, if you watch Trinity, they smile when they talk. They're really good at it. They were all cheerleaders. I was a cheerleader. Trinity's probably the best out of all of us, and it's because she was a kindergarten teacher. And so when you're talking to kids, you are always smiling and talking, and it brightens them. And watch their face, it brightens them up. So if it has that effect on a child, it will have that effect at your presentations, at your skincare parties, at your facials, and when you're teaching. And so it's excellent medicine for a confidence. Learn to smile while you talk. A smile is excellent medicine for confidence deficiency. Okay, so even if you don't have all that other stuff going on, start practicing when you're talking in the mirror, when you're getting ready, like doing my hair, doing my lips, curling my hair, just smiling and doing your presentation. And you can say stuff like, hello, I'm Michelle Byers. Thank you for coming to our party tonight. Your host is, the biggest compliment that you can give me as a beauty consultant is to invite me into your home and introduce me to your family and friends. And so thank you, Jane, for hosting tonight. I'm just so thankful. And we're going to take such good care of you. I take such good care of my hostesses. You're going to get some really good free stuff. And let's get this party started. And practice that, practice smiling when you're talking, and watch your sales go up.
I don't think so. Sit down. I don't think so.
And you're gonna just, you're just gonna start to blossom and have more fun with with this business. I promise you. All right, Marianne, I'm going to turn it over to you. Let me pin you so that we can see your beautiful face. Add pin. There you go.
Hey, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I apologize for the fun lighting. I think my ring light, one of the wires broke. So we have this going on. So I just wanted to, I made a couple of notes to go along with some of the things that Michelle already said. And so when you talking about people who come into the room and they don't seem energy giving, and they seem like energy draining, and you don't know why they're feeling that way. Maybe they just naturally look that way. They're glad to be there, they just aren't showing it. Or maybe they just had a rough day and they're glad to be there to kind of kick back, but they're just not showing that they're glad to be there. So one thing that I often pray is, Jesus, help me to see people the way you see them. Because we can be like really judgy or jump to conclusions so fast. And so because I often pray that, now it's getting to where, I've grown my people skill and my filter so that I can quickly see the good in people and be able to make those genuine compliments, or even be curious about them, to notice something, to ask something about them. So maybe it's like, yeah, I don't like their hair, I don't like their jewelry. I don't have a compliment to give, so I need to get to know them real fast. I need to be curious about them. I need to get them talking, and I'm going to connect that way. And that is genuine. And so another way I also practice that is, when I'm in a crowd of people, I look around, and as I'm looking at all the people, I almost like individually see them. And in my brain, I say, child of God, child of God, child of God. Even sometimes driving by homeless people, like, child of God. And it reminds me that they are just as valuable as me, no matter what's going on, no matter what decisions that they have made. I can instantly see their value, because I know my value. So then I instantly value them just as I value myself. And it also reminds me of that verse, love your brother as yourself. That's where that one makes the most sense to me. And so it also helps to keep your pride and your self-righteousness at bay. So especially as you're growing and working on yourself, like, you are getting better, you are becoming who God made you to be. So then that gap of what you physically look like and do and say and think between the masses you're separating yourself. So sometimes, that pride can kind of get in the way. And I do that to kind of help keep myself humble. But then also, as we grow our confidence, I recognize, I went from someone being very insecure to someone who's very confident. And my mission is to help people be confident. Now I've learned that when I come in the room, sometimes I intimidate people. And y'all know, I don't want to do that. That's the last thing I want to do. And so being aware of that, and understanding people skills, understanding people that other people are still insecure. And sometimes when I walk in the room with my confidence, it intimidates them and it can make them shut down. So using these people skills is what warms them. They didn't want to close up. And so what I have to do is that handshake, when you reach out and shake that right hand and you take the left one and you clasp it over and you kind of turn real close to them and get shoulder to shoulder, and you say, oh, I'm so glad to meet you, Sylvia. I'm so glad that you are here. We're just going to have so much fun, and then she actually is really nice. Okay, my jitters have gone down at least a little bit, so recognize that, especially if you're a very strong personality, recognize that you may need to help warm people a little bit. On the bright colors, love that. If you guys know, Gloria Mayfield Banks, if you ever watch anything she does, she's literally always in bright colors on purpose. Okay. And I love that. Yes, you can go to Goodwill and get your stuff. I'm a huge budget fan. Let's see, where else is there? Those were the main things. Yep, that's all. Oh, and with the RBF face. Okay, watch this. Hold on. This is my face without smiling. I look pretty ticked off. And you can hear the tone of my voice. It's pretty flat. I know that this is what my face looks like my lips go down. So I have trained myself to on purpose always look like I'm smiling. If I am resting, I'm on purpose smiling. Plus it also works on these muscles. So then like I got really strong muscles, okay? So if that's your face, you gotta work on it. And so yeah, so that way it becomes a habit and you just naturally smile. That's all.
Awesome. So you reminded me of one story. So hang on just a second. I want to tell this quick story.
Another
So,
one too.
okay, so we'll keep us both on this pin here.
Ooh,
All right, so,
sorry.
huh?
I was like, it's 9:30. If y'all want to stay for the extended party, feel free.
Yeah,
But if you
sorry.
gotta go, we get.
So when I was a new sales director, I was so insecure. And I remember going to a party at one of the really nice subdivisions in our town. And I was really insecure about going. And it was a room full of people. And I wore my director suit, 3-piece, $300 suit. Love that director suit. That's what made me feel like $1 million. That's why I became a sales director, was to get in that suit. And I only sold an eyeliner, one eyeliner. I was so mad. I even took a new consultant with me. I just, all the way home, I was just fuming. I get home and I called them every name in the book to my husband. The very next day, I had to play tennis, and I played tennis for the Noonan Country Club. And we had to play that subdivision. And one of the girls that was at the party was playing against me. And when you warm up, your partner goes on one side, the other, you warm up. And we got back to playing. She's like, hey, she said she met you last night. I said, yeah, she was at one of my Mary Kay parties. She was going on and on how beautiful you were. And then I realized they are moms in yoga pants, tennis outfits. I was there in a 3-piece suit. I intimidated them. They intimidated me, and I overdressed. And so from that point on, I started wearing my beauty coat so that I could feel confident, but yet I didn't feel overdressed. Does that make sense? And so that, Marianne, you reminded me of that situation where I was just as guilty of what happened. And they were housebroke. They live in these really nice houses and they couldn't even afford skincare. But that's a whole nother story. So, all right, Marianne, here's your story.
Okay. So Friday night, so I coach one of our recreational cheer teams. It's called Weebolts. It's a volunteer position, and I coach 2 practices a week, and we have a game once a week. And so that's a good 6 hours or something like that a week, volunteering my time. Given I love cheerleading, so it's super fun. Well, Friday night, the whole entire league was invited to be in the pregame of the football. So it's all the football players, all the cheerleaders from 1st grade to 6th grade. It's a lot of kids, a lot of families. And if y'all know me, my story, we have some struggles with the bigger cheer program. We just don't agree on how to run things, and it's all right. But I was trying to decide what to wear, because I'm going to be walking across the field and they're going to call my name. The coach of the 3rd grade team is Marianne Beach, and I'm going to be like, very noticeable. And I don't have a whole lot of coach gear or even this color gear because I'm not from here. And I wanted to look nice, and I didn't want to wear the same thing as last year, because y'all know some folks would remember. And I saw one of my dresses that my husband got me. It's white with a green stripe. It's got some short sleeves. It has a tie waist. It has some pockets. It comes down to my knees. It's kind of a summer dress, but I'm like, I'm going to wear a dress. I know I'm probably going to be the only coach in a dress, and I don't care. Because, you know, in other sporting events, you think about collegiate, all the coaches are in slacks and polos. When you go to basketball games, all the coaches are in suits. All the female coaches are in dresses or slacks. You're the professional, you're the coach. And so I was just comfortable. And at the same, and I was like, and you know what? I want everybody to know my name and I want them to respect me. And sure enough, the other coaches of the high school are dressed up in the attire that the students are dressed in. They're not even dressed professional. And in fact, because we could read my child's phone, she's in a group chat, and some of her guy friends were like, "Your mom looked amazing in that dress." They didn't use those words, but the high school boys are noticing my dress. So it was a power move on purpose, but it matters. It really matters. And dresses and skirts are so powerful. Every time I wear a dress, everybody's like, "That's amazing." And it's just a dress. And if everybody would wear dresses more,
Yes.
you'd feel more powerful and confident. They really are.
Yep.
So Mary Kay did it on purpose. She was a genius.
That's awesome. All right, so guys, we hope this was helpful, and it's recorded, so you can go back. I'm going to stop the recording